So today we are doing part 5 of the Matrix and Pattern blog from Matthias to Stefano and comparing it to the Law of One Tarot. So yesterday, in yesterday's vlog, I found something really interesting, and that has to do with the matrix and the pattern. So just a quick recap. Pattern is yang energy and matrix is yin energy. And we need both in order for this 3D to exist. And what I realized yesterday, I'm going to read this one more time, then I'll go to the Law of One Tarot images, okay? So here, the I Am says, well, if a pattern is a line, the matrix is the whole weave of lines. The pattern marks the path to where to go, and the matrix wraps in all directions with nowhere to go. With this, I started thinking about, so here is the mind complex, okay? So here is the matrix. The matrix of the mind complex is the magician. The matrix of the body complex is the justice card. And the matrix of the spirit complex is the devil. I am starting to think that yang is right here. Matrix of the mind complex, the magician card, I believe is the patterns that Matthias de Stefano talks about in his vlogs. They're yang. The reason I believe that is right here. We see patterns in that the bird is in a cage with patterns all over it. Therefore, if the matrix of the mind complex and thoughts are yang, that is very much so male energy. Emotions, on the other hand, emotions which are carried out by the high priestess, the potentiator of the mind. This is another reason I feel like this is the patterns, because the potentiator or the high priestess of the mind complex represents emotions. Emotions come from your organs. Thoughts are yang, emotions are yin. Emotions are formed within the body. Emotions, once you get hooked into your body and you start communicating with your body, emotions are intuition. They give you intuition and they give you guidance. That's what they're there for. What is the high priestess? She is very much so intuition. Very, very much so intuition. So if the matrix of the mind complex is the patterns, the yang energy, the potentiator is the emotions, the subconscious mind, perhaps. Then, what is the actual matrix? If this is patterns, the mind complex, then what's the actual matrix? And yesterday when I was reading, I came to a thought that perhaps the spirit complex right here, the devil card of the spirit complex of the matrix, which is the devil card, I am beginning to believe that it is the matrix. And the reason I believe that is, there's two reasons. The first one, he says here, if a pattern is a line, the matrix is the whole weave of lines. The pattern marks a path to where to go, and the matrix wraps in all directions with nowhere to go. So the matrix of the mind complex, the patterns mark a path. I always see the magician as will. If you can look into this globe that he's holding, a circle, you can very much so will anything. But these patterns, which create the subconscious mind, the unconscious mind, then the conscious mind, are what is going to lead your life until you start unraveling the patterns of the matrix. So basically, seeing them from different perspectives. But while these patterns are being formed, the actual matrix is right here, the devil card, because that devil card, let's read this. When you look at it, it's full of pain and sorrow and entrapment. And the reason I think it's the matrix is because the pattern marks the path to where to go, and the matrix wraps in all directions with nowhere to go. That dinosaur in there, those people at the bottom of the card have nowhere to go. Like, nowhere to go. How do I do this? Can you see it? Right. Oh, this is opposite, but you can see it there. Have nowhere to go. They see the matrix as a prison, very much so looks like a prison, and the pattern as a mandate. Both prevent free action. So both of these together, the patterns here and the actual matrix, nowhere to go, they take away the notion of free will. They see the matrix as a prison and the pattern as a mandate. Both prevent free action. You are determined by what mom and dad have done, which, let's go back here. So here we go. We're starting to layer. So the pattern, the subconscious mind, unconscious mind, the conscious mind, okay? You're determined by what mom and dad have. The matrix is a generating network. It is not a trap. It is the vibration that connects everything and crosses all existence. It is eternity. The matrix is the generating network. It is not a trap. It is the vibration that connects everything and crosses all existence. It is eternity. So, in order to start observing these patterns, or when you start observing these patterns by coming into the middle of the spider web, I believe it's the vibration. And the vibration that takes you out of the imprisonment starts here. It starts in the matrix of the spirit complex. This, I believe, is very much so yin. The devil card, the matrix, the womb is very much yin. The reason I believe that is because when I was thinking about this last night, going to bed, I started thinking about the potentiator of the spirit complex. And the potentiator of the spirit complex is the tower. Everyone sees this tower card as like, oh my God, shit's about to go down. Watch out, be careful. No. The way I've always seen it, also because I've read Ra's interpretation of it, is that what people miss, they start flying off the buildings in fear, which of course people will do because look at the devil. It's entrapped, right? But the devil is yin. It's the matrix. It's constricted. Yin does that. But when you're constricted, you're constantly going to go off of fear. So these people are falling off of the pyramid. But what we don't see is if in that fear, you can just stop and receive this lightning bolt of energy, which is yang, then you will find the information, you will find the wisdom from the light to begin to get out of the lower vibration into the higher vibration. But in order to do that, remember, you not only have to have those moments of sitting in the middle, the significant self in the middle of the spider web, but then to go one step further in the spirit complex of the catalyst, you must have faith. This is the faith card right here, the catalyst of the spirit complex. All right, let's move on. So the I says love, and the I am says, and the pattern is the fundamental force that drives one to fulfill oneself, to seek, to build. It is the intention that leads to transformative action. Yeah. So what I was saying about the magician here, the patterns, the magician I see as will. But what happens in life with these patterns, when they're all tangled up and yucky, we lose our intention. Forget about will. I feel like I want to say we lose our intention in life, and the reason we lose our intention in life is because of all the external factors: culture, religion, education system, political system, family, which is intertwined in the patterns within the subconscious, the unconscious, and then the conscious as well. So we lose our true intention. We lose this all together, the significant self, the throat chakra. The will, says the I am says, and together they manifest understanding and ability to recognize that every impulse is the tool that allows us to create from the eternal vibration and integration and integrate the fruits of what we have been able to generate. Let's read that again. So he says the will. So now, first he says love, which is, so love I see as the emperor. The will I see as, okay, let's look at this again. So he says love, and the I am says, and the pattern is the fundamental force that drives one to fulfill oneself, to seek, to build. It is the intention that leads to transform it. Okay, so what this is saying, I think, is that it's only through love here, the heart chakra, through the mind complex, it's the emperor, the body complex is the strength card, and the spirit complex is the moon card. It is through the heart chakra, the experience or change of perspective from the heart, because it's love and understanding. That's what the experience overall represents. It's love and understanding, all three of these. That's the underlying concept. It is here that in the heart that the change can begin to happen, and which it really resonates with me, because I know the lower mind here and the higher mind here on this side. It takes the heart to expand in order for the whole higher and lower mind to flip onto each other. So they flip onto each other from this middle experience, from love and understanding. So the will, and together they manifest understanding, the ability to recognize that every impulse is a tool that allows us to create from the eternal vibration and integrate the fruits of what we have been able to generate. So here, I feel like what they're talking about, and together they manifest understanding, the ability to recognize that every impulse is the tool that allows us to create from the eternal vibration and integrate the fruits of what we have been able to generate. I don't know why, but I feel like it kind of reminds me of the strength card. So the strength card, there's some sort of plant, or there's something underneath her feet, and she closes the lion's mouth like this, right? There's an X. An X, I feel, is unity. The X is oneness. The X is another symbol of like harmony. Why do I feel like that? Why does that represent the strength card? So he says, I says the will, I am says, and together they manifest understanding, the ability to recognize that every impulse is the tool. This is why, is the tool that allows us to create from the eternal vibration and integrate the fruits of what we have been able to generate. Okay, so the strength card here is the experience for the body complex. So I think the tools that they're talking about are your organs. So the tools that they're talking about, the unconscious mind, which I feel is your organs, once you start connecting with the emotions that are coming from your body, from your endocrine system, once you begin to recognize that, you are going to live through your intuition. You're starting to now use your subconscious mind. You're starting to use the unconscious mind in order to manifest. You are quieting the lower mind and you're from the body complex, and you're stepping into the higher mind through the body complex, which allows for temperance in the great way. Let me know what you think. Next, we have wisdom. After this, I'll close down the vlog. So wisdom, the I Am says, love and will are the parents of wisdom. The sacred trinity of divine attributes. The balance of both networks, the matrix and pattern, lead to full awareness in learning what it is to be and manifest. Love and will are the parents of wisdom. So wisdom is the significator. This is where wisdom comes from. The Hierophant for the mind complex, the Hangman for the body complex, and the Sun card for the spirit complex. The parents for the significator of the mind, body, and spirit complex are love, which is all of the experience. So for the mind complex, it's the Emperor. The body complex, it's the Strength card. And the spirit complex is the Moon card. So this is love and understanding for the mind, body, and spirit complex. Will is the Magician, the mind complex. So will and love equal wisdom. So let's look at it this way. Will, the Magician for the mind complex, love, the Emperor for the mind complex, equals wisdom, the significator for the mind complex. Root chakra, red ray, green ray, blue ray. If anything is coming to you guys, please comment below while I'm saying that. For some reason, I kind of want to go to the body complex too, but the Strength card is not will. Maybe it is. Anyways, okay, let's read on. Love and will are the parents of wisdom, the sacred trinity of the divine attributes. The balance of both networks, the matrix and pattern, lead to full awareness in learning what it is to be and manifest. So when there is a balance between the mind complex of the matrix, which is the Magician, the pattern, and there's a balance in the spirit complex of the matrix, which is right here, the devil. When there's a balance in pattern and matrix, it leads to full awareness in learning what it is to be and manifest. Okay. Because you know what I'm thinking of right now? I'm feeling like what happens is the opposite. When you feel constriction and you don't hate it anymore, you understand and realize like you need to constrict in order to manifest. When you realize that the negative and the positive of constriction, so when you realize that constriction it's a yin trait, but it's also so necessary to manifest, like I just said. But also when you start looking at it in a positive way, you can really put your will and intention and guide it carefully. So what I mean is, if you've lost your will and unable to form an intention, then this will is going to go nowhere because you're still kind of stuck in the pattern. But you might be like out of the pattern, because confusion will do that. But what you need with the confusion is curiosity, because curiosity puts you into this faith card. It gives you catalyst. So curiosity gives you catalyst. If you're able to be curious, what the spirit complex, the constriction, the devil card can help you do is it can narrow down and really hone in and constrict what you love to do. So for example, for me, everybody all my life told me I was not a really good writer. And then when I started writing for myself, people started telling me I'm a really good writer, and I enjoy it. But because I had the delusion of not being good at writing, it wasn't until like my 40s or mid 30s when people started complimenting my writing, I started thinking, could I do this? Could I be a writer? But it really still took me another almost decade because my intention wasn't strong, because everybody had stripped that away from me. It took me another decade or so to get a children's book out, get my Law of One Tarot workbook out. It still took me a decade, and I did it in my own style. I like to have fun with my writing. I like to keep the audience like intrigued, and I did that even in the Law of One Tarot workbook. Did it take will? I don't know if it took will, but the constriction I went through, I turned the negative into positive by putting an intention out. Like, I am going to, before I wrote the kids book, I wrote the Law of One Tarot workbook. And the intention was, I want other people to start looking at this, and I just want to give some guidance. No, I don't want to say what the cards are because I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I don't know nothing. All I want to give is a workbook and a little bit of guidance. And the guidance that I give in the workbook is what I gave myself at the time when I started the Law of One Tarot. So did I will that? Absolutely. And the intention was clear of what I wanted to do, because I wanted to do it in the highest good, easiest path for all. I wanted to share my wisdom with everybody else. Does that make sense? And the reason I had faith in doing it is because I loved it, and no one was going to tell me that I wasn't good at what I loved. I think that's what that is saying. Both paths unify the eternal and the finite, the framework of existence from which we learn and improve to each step. Thus, the patterns are the tools constituted to allow us to continue on the path, and these tools have given us the skills to use them. You cannot forget them, but you can learn new tools, improve them, improve your technique, and by discovering the potential, you express creativity, love, expression, life, and both concepts generate the meaning of your existence. You become wise. Isn't that beautiful? Let's read it again. It's so beautiful. I'm going to read it from the top. Love and will are the parents of wisdom, the sacred trinity of divine attributes. The balance of both networks, the matrix and the pattern, lead to full awareness in learning what it is to be and manifest. Both paths unify the eternal and the finite, the framework of existence from which we learn and improve to each step. Thus, the patterns are the tools constituted to allow us to continue on the path, and these tools have given us the skills to use them. You cannot forget them, but you can learn new tools, improve them, improve your technique, and by discovering that potential, you express creativity, love, expression, life. And both concepts generate the meaning of your existence. You become wise. So it's kind of like, there's no such thing as failure. You just kind of move on and you change your technique, like even a slight pivot. Sometimes you have to do a full 360. But that is it generates meaning of your existence. That is how you become wise. That's how you become the Hierophant. Therefore, when you recognize that matrix and pattern are not external or opposite aspects. Oh, that's beautiful. Therefore, when you recognize that matrix and pattern are not external or opposite aspects. Beautiful. All right, we will continue again tomorrow. Love you guys so much. Bye.